Hello and welcome to the channel. I got a project going on. Not much of a project. Hopefully this is going to be easy. It's kind of a will it start. Now, you've seen this car sometimes in my live shows and I think in past videos. This is a Mini Cooper S. It is a 2004 slick top. Yeah, that's right. So what we're going to do today, we are going to be getting it out of its hibernation spot, which has been in here for about, I think, 4 years. So we're gonna get it out of here because my son wants it. I obviously am not doing anything with it. And behind it is my Porsche 944 Turbo, which, you know, I really need to do something with it. Whether I keep it or sell it, I don't know. But anyway, we gotta get the motorcycle out of the way. I already got 2 bikes out of the way, and we gotta get some tires out of the way. And I think that's all we need to do. Kick it over to the side. It's on some dollies on the front, so let's go ahead and see what we can do without anybody's help. See if I can push it over by myself. And from there, I don't know what we're gonna do about the gasoline that's in it. If you wanna call it gasoline, it's probably, you know, corn juice by now, but it's probably pretty old. In fact, I know it's old. Let's go ahead and at least start by getting the bike out and getting those tires, wheels moved. So let's go ahead. Okay, we got the car in the garage. Let me fix this. There we go. And it was way easier than I thought because it's tiny. All right, Hunter. Not officially your car yet. You haven't paid me yet, but it is your car. You get in.
Okay.
And here's what I want you to do. I want you to turn the key and let it prime. All right, so fuel pumps are working. This has two. It has a lift one and then a primary, secondary and a primary. Do it one more time. Okay, now hit the key. Okay. It's so dead. Hang on a second. Okay, we got both boxes on. Here we go. All right, try it again. Ooh. A mouse nest just shot out of the exhaust pipe.
Oh. So that's what it did? It's going high.
Okay, did you hear that? So that's kind of why I parked this car. Well, not really. I mean, I just didn't have time for it at the time, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago when I mothballed it in the other building. So did you hear that thing? Well, we got to figure out what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and fire this thing back up and see if we can't figure out where that's coming from, okay? So I've got the charger on the dead battery, and let's see if we can jump it again. By the way, it's like 2 days later, so I'm on my own with this thing. So we're gonna go ahead, pop the hood again, and get this thing running. And that's definitely, I think, is a vacuum leak somewhere. So we're gonna take trusty old brake clean, and it looks like I'm running low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cans left. And anybody who does this sort of thing knows that's getting low, you know? So anyway, all right, we're gonna put the straw on here and we're gonna shoot it at any vacuum lines we could find, any spot we could think of, any connections, any sort of thing. I'm gonna set you guys up. We're gonna let this thing idle. You know, I did decide to go ahead and run this with the bad fuel in it, and whether it's a mistake or not, who knows? But I just couldn't wait. So anyway, let's get this thing fired up. Let me put you guys on a tripod. Now that is success. I found that pretty darn quick. It's relatively easy to take this intercooler off. I've had it off and I've had the supercharger off. Now, from what it looks like, unfortunately, it's not just a vacuum line. It looks to me like it is a fuel line. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and get this off and see exactly what's going on underneath. Hopefully it's just something like an O-ring. I'm not sure exactly what's inside this connection. So the only way to see is to go ahead, get this off, and see what's going on. But that's a result, so I'm pretty happy. So that's really the only reason why this car has been sitting, is because of that thing going on. Plus, there's no check engine light. So I have noticed when this thing runs, the exhaust does not smell proper because it's pulling in air. The car just does not know how to run. It's getting confused on what to do. So as soon as I start spraying in that brake clean, it's saying, oh, I have proper fuel now, and that's bringing the idle down. It's sucking in way too much air. There's no fuel leak, it's just pulling in too much air. So awesome, let's get that off. Okay, well that was actually really easy. I just didn't want to break anything. I just pried it into the little section here and it popped off. I just got off the phone with a buddy of mine who's a certified mechanic, and he said there should definitely be an O-ring in here. I am not seeing one, probably because it's so perished. And I think I'm seeing like something green inside there. I think I'm gonna try to see if I can pull something out of there. I was wondering if these are replaceable, this plastic ring here. He's saying that, yeah, definitely there's an O-ring in there and these are replaceable. But what he's telling me is that at his shop, they run a SIR kit that they actually cut these and just replace all this to run a whole new section. And that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to take his advice and probably go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to go check and see if there is a O-ring down in there. I most definitely don't have an O-ring for this, and I'll bet you trying to find one would just be a nightmare. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to order one of those kits he's talking about, and I think it would just be much easier. And if I have any trouble trying to figure out how to go ahead and do the install on it, I'll just have him come over and do it for me. But I think I could probably figure it out. Now, I am pretty happy though that that is the problem. Let's go ahead and get something to make sure that that fuel doesn't keep leaking everywhere. Eventually it'll stop, but yeah, there we go. So I'm probably gonna have to order one of those kits. In the meantime, we can get on with like other stuff like cleaning the interior. I could look up on the internet on how to actually do that install, and it's great that this actually turned out to not be a hard thing to do. Taking the stuff was really easy. All right, welcome back. I don't really remember where I left off, but I do know that it's like a day or two later. Getting the parts was a nightmare, not because they didn't have it, but because we lost power. The parts store lost power and they couldn't ring me out because it was just a nightmare. So I had to go back like 2 days later because that was my schedule. But anyway, check this out. This is the stuff I got. I got one of these spring hook puller things because I needed one of these so bad because mine broke. That's not part of this job, but anyway, that's what I got. I got one of these because I don't plan on using this, but I got it just because. Just because if I ever needed to do a job like this again, these are what's inside these things here, which I got these. Now, I've already got the piece I'm going to use on the car, but I bought these anyways, just in case. I got some of these mini fuel line injection hose clamps, the type that you screw on. But I also got these. This is the kind I'm going to use. These are the single ear type, where you use a clamp, where you use these clamp pliers. So anyway, let's look at what I ended up finding to put on here. I already clipped it on just to see if it'll fit. This is the guy. And if I go ahead and yank on it like this, pull it back and forth, it's super tight, meaning that the O-ring that's in there is making the seal that we need. So I did cut this already, and here's the piece. Ding! Right here. And I actually gutted it. I took out the piece that goes in there, the like retaining clip, and that black plastic piece here because I wanted to see, you know, what makes it tick. So anyways, right down past that black piece that you see is these things, HNBR O-rings. Now you can't use just regular O-rings like the black silicone ones. They have to be this type that are impervious to gasoline. If you used a silicone one, it'll become gummy and sticky and biodegrade, and it will leak eventually. So you need this kind, which will not. I probably could have got away with not doing this and cutting it off and replacing that O-ring, but you know what they say, hindsight 2020. Nonetheless, this should be an easy fix. I'm gonna swing this around. I'm gonna take this back off of here, put this on, and go ahead and use my new parts that I've got. So let's go ahead and open all this stuff up and do it. Okay, everything is buttoned up and bolted down and kind of ready to rock and roll. I've got the live show going and kind of got the battery in, and this little weird bolt mechanism thing broke. Yeah, it broke. So I don't know, I gotta find one of these. So I'm gonna have to like clamp this down and get it to clamp on better. So we got a better, you know, seal or whatever. But anyway, this one goes on. So let's get this pushed back like this. And we have power. Oh boy, it's scary. All right, we gotta get the 10 mil out and tighten this down. And then we can see if it starts. It'll start, but if this fixes it, hopefully it does. Let's get to it. Here we go. Starting the car. Oh, I need the key.
Well, it's late, and as you could tell, I'm bummed because it's still doing it. It's not as bad, but it's still doing it. There obviously is still a problem. There's still a vacuum leak. I've closed the hood because I just don't want to look at it anymore. I'm really sick of it. I really wanted this to be a victorious video, drive off into the sunset for you guys, but actually I think this is going to be a part 2, and hopefully it won't turn into a part 3, because I am done. This is going to be the end of this video. You're going to have to come back and find out what I'm going to do next, because I do have something up my sleeve to figure out what's wrong with this, to make it much easier on myself. I probably should have done it in the first place, but I thought that was the problem. It could have been part of it, but I bought something off of eBay to help me figure out what's going on here. But you're gonna have to come back for the next video to find out what it is. So I'll see you on the next one. Until then, take care. Bye.